I'm happy to welcome you back for part 2 here, Building the Penn Community. Before I say anything more about that, I have been advised that I should also remind you, what is this you're seeing on me? My wristband. Remember that our evening events, we have a number of events that are wristband events. You will not be able to get on the buses or into these buildings without them, and you are going to want to go. And I will be at the Constitution Center tonight and at the Philadelphia Museum of Art on Saturday, and I hope you'll all come up and say hello. All right. So as I said, and as you see behind me, oh, no, you see me behind me. We're calling this half of the program Building the Penn Community. I would say, for me, I look at all of the new student orientation as, in some substantive way, building the community. And I do believe that Penn is a community and that we care about that. We care about a united identity as a Penn community. You will also obviously develop lots of individual communities within that, within your schools, within your college houses, your affinity groups, performing arts groups, sports groups, etc. But we are fundamentally the University of Pennsylvania and a community. And as Provost Jackson said in his remarks yesterday, you'll meet many people who share your interests and opinions, and you'll also have discussions with people who have different opinions. And again, it's important to us that that is a comfortable terrain to navigate, that we do it with respect, that we all feel comfortable doing that. And so today, in this session, you'll meet a number of people whose roles it is to make sure that that happens and to help us facilitate that. And first, it's my pleasure to introduce friends and colleagues, the 4 undergraduate deans, the deans of the 4 undergraduate schools.
Hello, Quakers. Hello, class of 2028. My name's Peter Struck. I'm the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. Great to meet you all. Special shout out to the 1,500 of you that are students in the arts and sciences. All of you Quakers are joining a legacy that starts with the OG Quaker, Ben Franklin. Printer, diplomat, abolitionist, inventor, author, scientist, politician, and a lover of ideas. As Ben Franklin showed, it takes many perspectives to understand an increasingly complex world. That was true 250 years ago, and it's even more true today. In the world outside the classroom, problems are not going to come to you with labels on them that say, oh, you need quantitative methods to solve me, or interpretive methods, or culture and context. The wider your frame of reference, the better you're going to be able to solve the problems by matching it to the tool set you have at hand. We see this proved in many ways. In recent work by a social scientist called Richard Detweiler, the idea of breadth of education comes through loud and clear. The key factor to your future success, he found, is not the major that you choose. It's how many classes you take outside your major. So studying widely will get you higher incomes, greater levels of responsibility in your profession, and greater satisfaction in your life. This is especially true for folks who are first generation in college or come from backgrounds that didn't have a lot of privilege. So please keep this in mind as you're deciding how you're going to take classes. Of course, Ben Franklin wouldn't be surprised by this at all. Exploration leads to new ideas, and ideas are the most powerful things out there. So I'm looking forward to meeting you all in the coming years. Best of luck for a great college education, and we can't wait to work with you to get the most out of it that you can. So long.
Hello, Penn students. Are you excited to be here? That's it? Are you excited to be here? That's right. Penn chose you because you are extraordinary. We know that. But we are so happy and excited that you chose Penn. You are joining an incredibly vibrant, diverse community. But you're not just joining it. Will be building it. You are the architects of our community. You are our community. And yes, we administrators have a role, but it's really you. With your talent, passions, you will make Penn a better place. Penn needs you. I want to encourage you to take advantage of all the diversity around you. I'd be surprised if any of you have ever been in such a diverse community. Embrace it, learn from it, meet all these people from different backgrounds, different perspectives, different opinions, and yet we come together as one community built on trust and respect. Penn changes lives. Penn changes lives. And I look forward to being on this Penn life-changing journey with you. I wish you all the success you so deserve. Thank you.
Yo, how's it going, Quakers? Woo! My name is Prof. G, and I am here to help you get through your courses at Penn, especially my engineering students. Let's hear for engineers. Yes, woo! Excellent. Now, who is a Penn student? Yes. Who is an adult? Yes. Let me see those hands. Yes. Adult, 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 adult. Excellent. Now, what does that mean? That means that now it's on you. You get to make the choices. You could choose to sleep in, you could choose to go to class. You also get to be responsible for those choices. That's a great responsibility. It's a great freedom. While you're here, you are going to be learning a ton of stuff. I mean, math, and then other things as well. You are going to grow in wisdom and knowledge. Don't forget the wisdom part. As adults, you stand on the threshold of being able to change the world. Take that power and do great things with it. Become the great Quakers that you are meant to be.
Class of 2028. Woo, let's hear it. Okay. Nursing students, I want to hear it loud and strong. Give it up. We are small, but we are mighty. The Penn Nursing School is the #1 nursing school in the world. And I'm going to give you one big reason why.
because we're in the #1 university. We are in a place where you've got 4 undergrad schools that work as one. We are strong because of all of the schools who are here. And you're going to have the best opportunity to get to know one another, to be able to get to know this campus and the community that we live in. And that is going to be a great time for all of you. So I'm going to ask you to do one thing right now, all of you. I want to hear you say, "I belong at Penn." I got to hear it a little louder. "I belong at Penn." All right, I want you to turn to your neighbor and I want you to say, "You belong at Penn." That's right. You are at a #1 school. You are at a university that believes anything is possible, and all of you are the ones that can make it possible. You've got another big responsibility this year. Many of you are going to be voting for your first time. This is one of the most important elections. This is an opportunity for you to be you and to be voiced and to take control that my other colleagues up there just said for you to do. So we're going to see you at the polls. We're going to see you at campus, and enjoy your time here.
It's now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Sigal Ben-Porath, a professor in Grad School of Education and also in the Paideia program.
Hello. I'm, as you heard, the faculty director of the Paideia program. Our program supports dialogue to cultivate both personal and community wellness at Penn. And you can learn more about us if you scan the QR code over my head that takes you to our webpage. And you'll hear a little bit more in a moment from 2 of our excellent students, fellows, after I'm done. First, let's talk about dialogue, speaking and listening. As you just heard my colleagues commenting on, this is probably the most wonderfully diverse group of smart and engaged people you've ever had the opportunity to be a part of. You all come from different countries, from different languages, from different states, cities, towns, and farming communities. You come from different religious affiliations and value commitments, different political ideologies that hopefully you'll put into action when you vote if you're an American citizen, different experiences and backgrounds. Penn empowers you to bring your whole self into your work and your life here. You belong here, as you all just said, with your background, your beliefs, and your identities. Penn also empowers you to try out new perspectives, to look at the world through new lenses. That is what learning here means. Okay, now, you have a lot to learn from your classes and from your professors. But one of the best ways to flourish here is if you talk to each other and you listen to what others have to say. And so I only just have a couple more minutes with you. but I would like to give them back to you. I want to invite you to look around yourself, find someone next to you or behind you that you haven't yet had a conversation with, that you haven't yet met. And I want to offer you these few minutes to talk to them. I'll give you a prompt. So, I'll put on two-minute songs to help you keep track of the time. And I will hope that either you take this 4 minutes together or you take turns speaking 2 minutes each about my prompt. So here is the prompt. What's your name and when did you come to Philly? That's just being polite. If you were hosting a podcast, what would it be about? What is your thing? Now, of course, if you haven't thought about podcasts, you can just tell a fun fact about yourself. But otherwise, don't cheat. Find the person you don't know yet. Introduce yourself and take these few minutes to talk about my prompt to each other. And I hope Melissa and the folks can start the music for me. Okay, so hopefully either you received some swag or participated in the wave, perfect, or found some interesting and delightful things to talk about with your partners. I hope you continue these conversations and the waves as we continue this afternoon. Let me introduce you now to two students who took the time during their studies not only just to meet with each other, but also to learn from the place that we are all inhabiting now, from the city of Philadelphia and from the state of Pennsylvania. So here are Noah and Lynn to tell us a little bit about Paideia and about learning from this place.
Hey, class of 2028.
Hello.
Y'all, where's the energy? Hey, class of 2028. Okay, I guess we can deal with that. Hi, everyone. My name is Lynn.
My name's Noah.
And we're actually a part of the wonderful opportunity, the Political Empathy Lab, directed by Dr. Leah Howard. Do you want to wave, Dr. Howard?
Over the course of the summer, we got to travel all around the state of Pennsylvania and connect with Pennsylvanians about the issues that matter most to them.
During our first week in the lab, we looked to the children's classic, Fish is Fish, a book read to us by Dr. Sarah Ropp, to delve deeper into understanding what it takes to explore new places. So we're going to have a little story time with you guys. Leo Leone's piece details the interactions between a minnow and a tadpole who are just inseparable friends from the same pond. As time goes on, a tadpole eventually grows just into a frog and gets to venture out into different ponds, only to come back and tell the minnow stories of just everything he has seen, which also includes sightings of cows, people, and birds. As the minnow is only familiar with what exists in his own pond, he begins to imagine these different ponds based on the limited knowledge that his frog friend has shared. So in the pictures, you see a flying fish with feathers, you see two-legged fish dressed in extravagant suits and hats, and we, the readers, kind of begin to realize the dangers and misfortunes of being stuck in your own pond without any first experience of the world that exists around you. It's a fish imagining fish things because it doesn't know what non-fish things look like. And this theme of venturing into the unknown and just letting go of our own preconceived notions have proven to be both representative of our own experiences going around Pennsylvania, as Noah will talk about, and more poetically, what it's like to explore different ponds.
The first pond that we visited as a team was Allentown. This is a picture of downtown up there. And if you don't know Allentown, it's the third largest city in Pennsylvania. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of Philly, so that direction. We'd spent time thinking as a team about our goals, connecting with unfamiliar places and people, and learning about Pennsylvanian politics. But this was the first time we were going to be out in the field, and I personally, I don't know about you, Lynn, but I was really nervous. We were in groups of 2 at least, so Natalie, another one of our PEL teammates, and I spent probably 20 minutes of the 2 hours we had to work with just walking around, nominally taking notes about the city, but really just avoiding the idea of talking to a stranger. So we were wandering around, and eventually Natalie pointed out a man walking maybe 50 feet in front of us, but I thought, no, we can't come up and talk to him because if we come up behind him, it looks like we've been stalking him. So we skipped that guy. We skipped some people at a bus stop because I guess they looked busy waiting for their bus. And by this point, I was practically shaking at the idea of speaking to anyone. But I just forced myself to say, "Excuse me," to the first person we saw, and we had a really successful conversation. And this little moment was basically the trajectory of our trip, getting more and more comfortable jumping into other people's ponds, other people's worlds and experiences. This second picture here is not from our first trip, but our last trip. And it's us with hosts Sandy and John for a night we spent in Mansfield, which is a small, small rural town in north central Pennsylvania. They were friends of a friend of our professor, Dr. Howard, so she knew them enough to accept their invitation, but we all met them literally the night before this picture was taken, and you can see we were got our arms around each other like a family. By this point, with at least 5 trips of at least 17 different towns and more conversations than I can count worth of jumping into ponds, none of us even really batted an eye at getting to know Sandy and John, even though they were strangers. By the time we'd left, we'd heard about John's work as a professional musician and Sandy's as a professor, and their experience of having neighbors in Mansfield who they disagreed with about almost everything politically, but still deeply respected for their neighborliness. And I'd even found out with John that one of their grandchildren had moved to the same town in the Philly suburbs that I grew up in. Our exponential growth and confidence from those first conversations in Allentown really allowed us to connect with people like we did with Sandy and John.
So, as Noah described, meeting new people and getting used to a place is a muscle that constantly has to be exercised. I think we all know this. And it actually does get easier. We've come up with 3 main tips to use when connecting with any form of unfamiliarity, or even if it's just building relationships with new places, new things, and new experiences.
The first step is to establish common ground. Common ground is all about shared interests, whether that's something as simple as liking a song by the same artist, having a special allegiance to the same sports team, or even feeling a little bit bored sitting here listening to us for hours. You'd be surprised about how much you have in common with the people around you, so be open and curious.
The second is to ease into conversation through humility. By letting go of your immediate judgment about someone, you respect their chance to just be them, and you can expect the same to be reciprocated in any conversation you have. And the third is to show signs of active listening. So it's very human to acknowledge that we love being listened to, and the best way to show someone that you're fully present is by demonstrating what you want to see in a conversation. So open body language, nodding along, and you can just build trust that way. So, as you embark on your journey and take time to explore literal ponds like the Biopond, if any of you know where that is, or the poetic ponds of new social experiences, we hope that you encourage yourself to venture from what's comfortable and exercise this muscle of connection and empathy. We also hope that you check out the Political Empathy Lab and the SNF Padilla program, and they are both communities that have shaped my own growth as a recent graduate and will continue shaping Noah's growth as a sophomore.
From the SNF Padilla Fellows Program to PEL to the variety of SNF Padilla designated courses, there are so many opportunities to engage in dialogue, civil discourse, and wellness if they are of interest to you.
And as we conclude our presentation, we want to welcome and congratulate the class of 2028 while encouraging you to venture out to your own bubbles and assumption while you to venture out of your own bubbles and assumptions and meet new people
Visit new places
and explore as many ponds as you can.
All right, please join me in welcoming the group of Building the Penn Community through local engagement.
Right. All right. Can y'all hear me now? Good afternoon, new students. Welcome to Penn and to West Philadelphia, your home for the next few years. I'm Faustine Sun. I'm staff at the Netter Center for Community Partnerships. And I'm a proud Penn graduate, class of 2018. Could I please get a show of hands? Who here has ever been involved in community engagement? All right, raise your hands high. Nice. That's so many folks. We hope that as a new resident and neighbor of West Philadelphia, you will choose also to connect with your local community here. During this session, we will be sharing with you all the different ways you can get involved.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? No? Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, all right. Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Hetnick. I'm the director of Civic House here at Penn. There are many ways to get involved at Penn beyond campus with our local community, West Philadelphia, and the broader city of Philadelphia that you all live in now. Our two offices, the Netter Center and Civic House, support opportunities and offer programming and community engagement, where students learn from and work alongside the local community and its neighbors to understand its strengths, build trusting relationships, and work collaboratively with community partners on addressing its needs. Our focus is not only what you do through community engagement, but how you're prepared to engage responsibly and how you can learn, grow, and engage more effectively around the issues that you care about.
All right, to share a little bit about the Netter Center. But first, can you hear me okay? It seems pretty loud. Can you raise your hands if you can hear me? Can y'all hear me in the back? Yes? All right, thank you. The Netter Center connects 2,500 Penn students a year with West Philadelphia public schools, nonprofits, and communities of faith. We support Penn's academically based community service, or ABCS courses, which are credit-bearing courses that focus on real-world problem solving with community partners. You can sign up for ABCS courses directly on Path at Penn like any other Penn course. Or if you don't have space in your class schedule, you can also volunteer or do paid work through one of our many programs, which range in topics from sports, fitness, and health, to STEM, to the arts, to gardening and nutrition, to voter engagement, and many more. If you want to get involved with your local community, the Netter Center and the Civic House are resources for you.
I'm going to talk a little bit about Civic House. Civic House is Penn's hub for civic and community engagement. At Civic House, we emphasize building long-term, mutually beneficial relationships with our community partners and centering existing local knowledge and efforts to inform our programming. We offer social justice education as preparation for intentional community-based work and ongoing opportunities for learning, critical reflection, and being together with other students, faculty, and staff who also care about community engagement and social justice.
Now, to our wonderful student leaders, could you please introduce yourself and share a bit about your experiences in community engagement at Penn? Maya?
Hi, my name is Maya Gordon. I recently graduated this past May from the College of Arts and Sciences. I was an urban studies major, best major on campus, and I'm now a GSE student in this coming fall. The Netter Center was actually a big reason of why I chose Penn, because I knew I wanted to get involved in community engagement throughout my time in undergrad. One of the first ways I got involved was my freshman fall when I worked for the Arts and Teaching Fellows, where I worked at a local West Philadelphia high school teaching an after-school writing program, which was co-created with local teachers. The next summer, I worked at the Penn Program for Public Service internship, where I got paid full-time to work for Netter Center summer locals at local K-12 schools. And I also took a ABCS seminar on learning about higher education community engagement. I was also a member of the Netter Center Student Advisory Board, where I was able to create dialogue events for students engaged in community work to reflect and share on their experiences amongst their peers. One thing I really like about the Netter Center is that you can choose to follow your passion projects and gives you room to find what works for you. So it was really great to have the opportunity to build on my dialogue work from high school. I've taken a lot of ABCS courses throughout my time at Penn. They're one of the best courses on campus because it integrates the stuff that you learn in class with real-world experiences. One example of an ABCS course is an urban studies course called Participatory Cities, where I worked with my peers to create participatory data gathering techniques that we use to actually support the local Philadelphia bus revamp project. So that was really cool to see my work, transcend to real-world experiences. All of my experiences helped me to find my passion for doing research and community engagement. So with the Netter Center, I was able to work on a research project, interviewing UPenn staff and local community members to improve community engagement on campus. The Netter Center has been one of the most valuable experiences here at Penn because it's given me space to make an impact in the community that I've called home for the past 4 years. And it's also given me space to find my passions and also discover my career trajectories.
Hi, everyone. I'm Julia Levine. I'm a senior in the college. I'm studying cognitive science and PPE and minoring in data science. And before even coming to Penn, I was very involved in my local community in Long Island, New York. I was participating and curating voter registration events before I could even vote myself. So that definitely got me started off on the path seeking more opportunities for engagement when I got to Penn. And I definitely started off strong. I was a participant in Penn Corps, which is a pre-orientation program through Civic House. And there I got to learn how other people in this group were doing their own work at Penn through the Netter Center or through Civic House. And that made me want to find my own place at Penn and do community engagement myself. I started out as a biology major, so my interests were mainly focused on research and transforming technical data into a storytelling presentation. After my first year, this evolved into a different major where I transferred to cognitive science and PPE, but I was still missing that civic engagement portion that I was still interested in finding. Over the summer, I stumbled upon a job listing for a research and analytics coordinator at Penn Leads the Vote. I applied, I interviewed, and I got the job, and let me tell you, that was the best decision I ever made. It's the most perfect job for me at Penn. Over the past few years, I've led countless research initiatives, fostered academic partnerships, and all along I've been helping my peers and my local community be more civically engaged and get more people voted. I've also developed my own technical skills along the way, and I've been able to present my experiences to people like you, who I hope will be able to someday soon take over and continue these wonderful initiatives. Through these opportunities at Penn Leads the Vote, I was able to put myself out there more and continue along more engagements, including being a student advisory board member at the Netter Center. As Maya's already mentioned, this involves work focused on ABCS course development, and through Student Advisory Board, I've been able to branch out even more, discovering more opportunities at Penn and more like-minded people like me. Finally, finding my place at Penn has brought me so many new experiences and benefits I couldn't have predicted before. Being able to make trackable differences and forge my own path to success has fostered my drive and interest in doing even more community engagement work. I hope that our stories today inspire you enough to check out some of the Netter Center's programs. And if you feel so inclined, our team at Penn Leads the Vote is right outside the Palestra upon exiting if you feel like you want to register to vote today. Thank you.
Hey everybody. Hey y'all, my name is Hazel Kiki. Hey guys. I'm a nursing major, big nursing. Nursing major, bioethics minor, and nutrition minor. And I'm representing Civic House. I did Penn Corps as my pre-orientation when I arrived here, and I just finished as a Penn Corps student leader. Shout out to my Corpies. I'm very passionate about reproductive justice, reproductive rights, health equity, and helping people who are impacted by incarceration or justice impacted. Why I really love doing work with Civic House is because they teach us the difference between one-time service versus direct service versus true community engagement, and they remind us that we don't know what's best for the community and that we're not the solution. So I really loved being at the Civic House. They're always a safe space for me, and I'm allowed to learn more about different experiences in different communities. Yeah, so I'm also a civic scholar, so I do a project and studying and a pro seminar, studying different civic issues and different things related to my passion project. Yeah.
Greetings to the class of 2028. My name is Tatiana Pope, and I am a senior in the college studying urban studies and political science with a minor Africana studies. I'm here representing Civic House, and I just want to let you guys, know 2 ways that you can get more involved in the community at Civic House. And so the first way is more internal. And so Civic House hosts student leader training for anyone interested into interacting with the community. You can go get fed, but also learn how do we interact with the community, do a little identity work, and it's very fulfilling in its practice. And the second one is more externally. So after you get training at Civic House, you then go out to one of our community partners and really work with that community partner. I think it's really important because I work with one of the community partners, and it really teaches you how you actually listen to the needs of a community and you don't impose your own ideas of what the community needs. And I think that is very special, especially because we're here at Penn, and Penn has a very complicated history with our community. And so once you learn to kind of digest that and negotiate what that means to be a Penn student working in the community at Civic House, I think you can successfully engage with the community.
Thank you, everybody. So we just wanted to leave you all with one reflection question. As you consider community engagement and getting involved locally in West Philadelphia or more broadly in Philadelphia, have you considered yourself a neighbor of Philadelphia in coming to Penn and thinking about your time at Penn? Have you thought about yourself as someone who's responsible to those around you and those living nearby you and the things that are going on here and wanting to learn more about what's happening in your neighborhood? So thank you. We hope to offer you all opportunities to take everyday actions to get more engaged and to be prepared, as all the students had mentioned. Thank you so much. I'd like to bring on my friend, Reverend Chaz Howard, who leads our Office of Social Equity and Community and is our university chaplain.
All right, class of 2028. It is wonderful to see you all. It is wonderful to meet you all. And let me add my voice to the many who are welcoming you to our campus. My name is Chaz Howard. I'm the university chaplain and one of our vice presidents here, focusing on social equity and community. and I am a Penn alum. For me, my nearly 30 years here at Penn have been full of so many memories that I will cherish. I met some of my best friends in life here at the university. I met my spouse here at the university. You may too. Two of my children were born right across the street at Penn's hospital, and I'm now a Penn parent twice over. In thinking about my time here at the university, my heart is full of love. That's what Penn is all about, love. Yes, we're about being a diverse global university. We're about academic excellence. We're about service. We're about innovation. Yes, all of that. But all of that is fueled by love. Remember this every time you pass by that simple yet beautiful love statue in the middle of our campus. Thus, before I turn the program over to my colleagues and our amazing students, I've been asked to remind you that hate has no home here at Penn. Again, hate has no home here at Penn. Whether it's anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, racism, xenophobia, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, or classism, any form of bigotry, hate has no home here at this university. And connected to that, expressing hatred via violence, hostility, or discrimination against individuals for any reason, be it because they're Muslim or Jewish, Israeli or Palestinian or Arab, because of their political beliefs, because they're different than you, that is not acceptable in the Penn community. We are better than that. When I was a student here, we are. When I was a student, when I was an undergrad here, I was a part of several different protests. Student activism has brought about so much about what is great here at the university. The best protests and efforts for change are fueled by love, not hate for the other. For the educational mission of the university to work, we have to be in an environment where all of our faculty, staff, and students are respected and treated with dignity, in which every individual knows that they belong here. Over your next 4 years here, you're going to have many opportunities to learn about different customs, religions, cultural heritage, political ideologies, personal identities through your courses, through programs in your college houses, through your cultural resource centers, or the organic learning that happens from getting to know classmates who are different than you. One of the best favors you can do for yourself is to take advantage of these opportunities for learning and growth. Penn is a remarkable place, and you're about to embark on a wonderful journey of discovery, growth, and love. It's my pleasure to introduce you to three of my favorite colleagues, two of my favorite students who are going to share about their perspective on building community at Penn. Will?
Good afternoon, class of 2028. How are y'all feeling? Good. My name is Will Atkins. My pronouns are he, him, and I have the honor of serving as an Associate Vice Provost for University Life, focusing on diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Penn is an institution where you will learn more about yourself and about others through the connections you make and the experiences you share. We are home to several cultural and identity centers that are open and available to every single student in this building, inclusive of how you identify. Our goal is to bring our campus together through our values of belonging, empowerment, community, transformative learning, and intersectionality. We do this through our mission of cultivating transformative educational experiences that celebrate identity and culture, strengthen belonging, promote wellness, and empower students to be advocates for positive, sustainable change here at Penn and beyond. Everyone is invited to learn, engage, and connect with our centers, which include the Greenfield Intercultural Center, the Penn Women's Center, the LGBT Center, MACU, the Black Cultural Center, the Pan Asian American Community House, and La Casa Latina, the Center for Hispanic Excellence. Penn is your home, and the Cultural Resource Centers are your home. We welcome each and every one of you to stop by, make new connections, leave with lifelong friends, and find the support you need to be successful here at Penn. Welcome home.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Penn. Woo, 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 woo. My name is Renee Barkawi, and I am the new Middle Eastern and, program coordinator for Middle Eastern and Arab student communities. I just graduated, and I know exactly how you all feel right now. It's a mix of exciting, nervousness, overwhelming, or just everything in between. I just want you to know that regardless of whether or not you identify as Arab or Middle Eastern, we are all here to serve as resources to you all. And anybody that's spoken before me is also that resource. So if any time during your Penn journey you find yourself wanting somebody to talk to, please feel free to reach out to any of us. With that, be excited, get hyped. This is going to be an amazing first year, and I'm going to pass it off to Rabbi Gabe Greenberg.
How's everybody feeling out there? Appropriate response. My name is Gabe Greenberg. I'm the director of Penn Hillel, and it's a joy to be seeing all of you at the start of what's going to be an amazing 4 years. We have a center on campus where all are welcome, and we look forward to seeing you at some point in the next days, weeks, or months, regardless of your background, interest. Come hang out, and we have such a supportive environment from everyone who's spoken and throughout the campus ecosystem. Having an amazing time. Look forward to seeing you, and it's a treat for you to hear now from a couple of our student leaders.
All right, can y'all hear me? Is it loud? All right, Assalamu alaikum, Penn. For those who are wondering, Assalamu alaikum means peace be upon you. It's the preferred greeting for Muslims. Does anyone know what the right response is to Assalamu alaikum? Wa alaikum assalam. Y'all are trying too hard. This isn't an AP Human Geo exam. This is too much. We just finished high school. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm Mustafa, guys. I'm the president of the Muslim Student Association. I'm a senior in the M&T program. And I have the pleasure of talking with you all today about some of the cultural resources at Penn. The MSA, or Muslim Student Association, really big organization at Penn, 1,000 people plus Muslims on campus. And during the kind of tough events of last year that a lot of students were facing, it was really what helped me get through a lot of my issues, talking with my professors, things like that. And it was really a hub for me to be a part of. But I want to say that every community at Penn, not just the MSA, but other communities. I've worked with the Hindu Jain Association or many of the Christian clubs at Penn, and they're all welcome. They're all welcoming. I work with even the Japanese Student Association. I hung out with them for 2 years, and they really helped me get through some of the difficulties. And I think the highlight of Penn is really your ability to meet with anyone and any group of people, whether they're culture related to you or not, super diverse. And I think the moment of hope that kind of really got me through last year and what gives me hope for the future is during Ramadan, we had a fastathon with a bunch of people fasting, Muslims, non-Muslims, around 300 people came, huge event, and just every race, identity, cultural background, and it was really a moment of hope for me. So I'm gonna pass it to Gabe to talk about his experience as well. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Gabe Greenfield, and I'm going to be a sophomore this year, which is pretty crazy to say because just last year I was in all of your seats. So it goes pretty fast, so enjoy it while you can. So last year when I first got to campus, one of the first things that I looked for was community. And for me, as a Jewish student, that was the Jewish community and the Penn Hillel. Very soon, I realized the diversity and opportunity that we have here at Penn and started to get involved in things like the Interfaith Club and started to meet new people and hear new perspectives. Last year, things got pretty difficult on campus, but because of the support of institutions like Hillel and the connections that I was able to make through the Interfaith Club, I was able to use those things to build forward and instead of looking at the problems, start thinking about solutions through my dialogue initiative, which is called Breaking Bread. And through initiatives like that, and the conversations that you guys are even having right now, we will begin to see a new face of Penn, a new year, and not just dealing with the problems, but looking at the solutions. So I look forward to seeing you guys and the communities that will strengthen your identities and will broaden your identities in this coming year and the next 4. Welcome, guys, to Penn.
Thank you. And please join me now in welcoming Pablo Sadera from Penn Restorative Practices.
Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, I'm gonna try it again. Good afternoon, everyone. All right, very nice to see you all. Welcome, welcome, class of 2028 to Penn. My name is Pablo Cerdeira. I use the pronouns they and them, and I am the Deputy Director for Restorative Practices at Penn. So I'm gonna talk to you all a little bit about what we mean when we talk about community. What does it mean to be a part of a community, and how do we think from a restorative perspective about building that community? So before I get into some of those details about what we're talking about, what we're doing with community, I want us to just take a moment to hear a little bit about who Restorative Practices at Penn is and how we are as a resource that you can engage with, that you can learn from, and that you can be a part of. So Restorative Practices at Penn as an organization serves students, staff, faculty, postdocs, really any and everyone who is part of the Penn community that you are now joining. And we do that really with the intention of creating a culture across campus that is a restorative culture, a culture where we can promote healing, accountability, and positive community building, all right? And so we do that in a variety of different ways. We do trainings where people like you have the opportunity not only to build some skills, but also to learn about some of the history, the philosophy, and the core ideas of what it means to be in restorative community. We also do facilitations, which means that we'll come directly to you. We can be coming into your classrooms, to your student organizations, to your sports teams, or just to help you in a situation where you are facing a conflict or a harm and want to have some support in having those important but sometimes difficult conversations, right? Where we're dealing with these challenges. And last but not least, we do consultations. Many of you in this room are going to have the opportunity to serve as leaders here at Penn. You're going to be the heads of sports teams. You're going to be the presidents of organizations. And there's going to be often in those roles challenges. There's going to be challenges that you need to face. And if you want some help thinking about how do I deal with this situation, how do I deal with this challenge in a restorative way, we're here to provide some guidance, some support, and some ongoing consultation. All right, folks. I'm going to take a moment. I want us to all take a moment together because part of being in a community is actually hearing and listening to each other. And I am towards the end of your time here in the beautiful Palestra. So what I'm going to ask is if everyone can take a moment, and I'm going to actually want us to get to a place where I can hear some silence in this room. I know we're here in the home stretch, but I'm going to ask if we just take 1 second to just experience some silence. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to invite all of you to stop talking as well for just 1 minute. Let's see what it sounds like to be quiet in this room. We're almost there. Can we get to silence? So close, folks. Ooh, that's a beautiful sound. Thank you, everybody, for taking a moment to come in and to be present and to be centered, because I want to tell you about what it is that we do at Restorative Practices at Penn and what the restorative philosophy is and how it can help you as you're part of this community over the next 4, 6, 8, 10 years, however long you decide to stay here, right? So restorative justice, restorative practices is founded in this core concept of restorative justice. And restorative justice as a concept is the idea that we have a process to involve, to the extent possible, those who have a stake in a specific offense or community or situation or conflict, and to collectively identify and address harms, needs, and obligations. with the goal to heal and put things as right as possible, right? So it's a little bit of a run-on sentence. I sometimes use it to test my lung capacity, see if I can get it all out in one breath. But it has the three big ideas that I want you to take away with you from this afternoon. The first being that we want to involve, to the extent possible, those who have a stake, all right? In the disability justice movement, people say nothing about us without us. What it means in the restorative philosophy is that anyone who is affected by a decision, anyone who is affected by a conflict or by a challenge should have a voice at the table to figure out what it looks like to move forward in a good way, right? So we want people who are directly involved, directly affected by a situation to be part of figuring out how to move forward. And what do we do when we get those relevant people to the table? We're collectively identifying and addressing the harms, needs, and obligations. We're saying, what is the challenge that we're facing? What harm has happened here? Who has been hurt or who is struggling? And what are the needs that they have? What are the needs that we all have in order to move forward in a good way? And last, and I think most importantly here, we're thinking about obligations. And obligations is a word that I think has a tough connotation for a lot of people. You think about obligations as something that you're forced to do, something that you have to do. But what I'm here to tell you is being part of a community, whether that be being a part of the community of Penn, of the classes you're going to be a part of the teams that you're going to be on, of West Philadelphia, of Pennsylvania, of this nation, it means that you have connections with other people, and those connections come with obligations. And the obligation to be in right relationship, right? And so our orientation is to try to live into those obligations, to deal with the hard things in ways that help us all heal and be better off after than we were before, right? That we want to put things as right as possible, which means sometimes that we need to address the conditions that let the hard thing happen in the first place, okay? So at the end of the day, restorative practices at Penn and the restorative philosophy for community building focuses on healing and accountability and how those things allow us to come to community. If you all take just one thing away from what I'm sharing with you right now, the thing I want you to remember, so if you all can hear me and think about the thing that I want you to remember, is that accountability is not a dirty word, right? Accountability is the foundation from which we can build strong relationships and healthy communities. Accountability is a way for you to exercise your agency, to live into your values, and to show up in your relationships and in your communities in the way that you want to. Each and every one of us is going to do stuff that we regret. Each and every one of us is going to make mistakes. Each and every one of us is going to learn and grow as people if you're lucky, right? And so we'll all have the opportunity to live into accountability, to live in better ways into our obligations so that we can be part of strong, healthy, and positive communities, all right? So if you remember one thing, accountability is an opportunity. Accountability is a gift, and it's a chance that we have to live into our values and live into right relationship. At the end of the day, a community is not just an abstract idea, right? We talk about being part of the Penn community. And right now, the Penn community is a really nebulous idea to most of you, right? You've been here for a week, maybe a little bit longer if you came for an early program. You're starting now to meet the people around you and build relationships. And at the end of the day, a community is a web or a network of relationships. And so what we try to do when we think about handling and approaching community in a restorative way is we're trying to think about how do we strengthen the bonds and tighten the weave of that web of relationships where there is trust, where there is understanding, when there is connection, so that harm is less likely to happen in the first place, and so that the communities that you're a part of are more resilient in the face of harm when it does inevitably happen, whether from within or from without of the community, right? So when you think about the people you're talking to next to you right now, when you think about the people you're going to be in your college house with or in classes with or on a team with, think about building and strengthening those relationships to tighten the weave of this broader community so that this community can be strong in the face of all of the challenges that you might face personally or collectively. So again, as folks from Paideia were speaking about earlier, this deep listening is a great way to build those connections in a meaningful way. And there are so many resources on this campus, restorative practices at Penn among them, to give you some support, to help you prepare, and to give you some structure within which to build those relationships. So we're coming to the end of the time here. I'm going to ask, a lot of you got your phones out. I'm going to ask if you just want to tilt those phones up towards the QR code. You're going to find a Qdoba gift card. It's $10 off your next order at Qdoba. Or it might have been a mistake and it might actually be the link to our website. You will find out when you scan the QR code. One of those things for sure. So if you can all scan this, you'll get more information about restorative practices at Penn, what it is that we do. And now I'm going to pass it over to Elise Betts for Penn Traditions. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Pablo. Okay, we are the last group of speakers standing between you and Highball to Heyday. So I'm going to be quick. Okay, so what do I do and why am I standing here? I have the best job at Penn. You know why? Because half of my time I'm working with students. You all. The other half of my time, I'm working with alumni. So, next slide. Fifth reunion. I know it's hard to believe, but you will be celebrating reunions together as a community. What's going to happen in May 2033? Your fifth reunion. Okay, somehow my slides got a little messed up. I have a question, and I have a prize if you get the question right. What does alumni mean? What does alumni mean?
Someone who graduated from an institution.
Someone who graduated from an institution. Let's hear it. There are 300,000 alumni all over the world. And guess what? They want to hear from you. So in a few months, you're going to get an invitation to something called My Penn, and that will give you access to our alumni. So I want you to think about this. College is 4 or 5 years. You are a member of this community for life, forever. So think about this. We just had reunions in May. We had people come back for the 75th reunion. They were 96 years old and they were on this campus. So what do we ask y'all to do? Go, give, lead, connect. Stay engaged. These relationships that you're building are relationships for life. Your relationship to the university is a relationship for life. So, with that, if you know the dance, do it. You'll get some swag. Do the dance. Do the dance. Woohoo! Do the dance, y'all! H-O-T-T-O-G-O! All right, now I'm going to introduce you to the Penn Traditions team. We are the team that just gave you these t-shirts.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amin Goyal. I should never be allowed on a microphone, but here I am. I'm the director for Penn Traditions. I've been at Penn for 12 years. I'm an alum from GSE and the School of Government Fells. And one of my favorite Penn traditions is Spring Fling. If you've heard of Spring Fling, it's better than you even can imagine. It's a huge concert right outside of here, facing the city. You have the city as the backdrop. Last year, we had Metro Boomin and Daya. We don't know what we're gonna have yet this year, but we hope to see you there.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susanna. I'm the Associate Director for Penn Traditions. I am an alum of the Graduate School of Education. And my favorite Penn tradition is what you're about to go to right after this, Highball to Heyday. It introduces you to all of the amazing traditions that are at Penn. And it's my favorite tradition because when I was the graduate assistant for this office, it was my first event that I did.
Awesome. So hello, everyone. Can I get like a cheer or some point of energy? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. So my name is Noah Malad, and I am a student here at Penn. I'm one of you. I'm a rising junior and also the president of Penn Traditions. So my favorite traditions, I have two, one official and one sort of unofficial. My official one, Susanna over there actually stole, which is Highball to Heyday. When I came to Penn, I was a nervous wreck, which I'm sure many of you are, but you're putting on a perfectly good smile, and as we call it, Penn face. But deep down, I know you're freaking out. I was freaking out, I was crying, I was like a total hot mess. But Highball to Heyday was the first event where I felt like it was going to be okay, where I felt like I was going to make it through and actually be able to survive. And then my second favorite event, which again isn't really an event, but it's going to Wawa after a long night, which I'm sure many of you will be doing this week. So those are my two traditions, and I will pass it back to Elise.
Okay, so look up on that screen. That is you all! The great class of 2028.
Come on,
Take
that's
a picture.
pitiful.
I promise we will get that to you. So the Penn Traditions program is a program for you all to engage with us and the Penn community and to think about your lifelong relationship. So welcome to this community. It's a rich and beautiful community, and I'm so proud to be in community with all of you. Join us on College Green for Highball to Heyday, the Penn experience. But before I let y'all go, one more thing. Another Penn tradition is we vote.
Yes, let's hear it.
So if you are not registered to vote, you can either scan the QR code or our Penn Leads the Votes volunteers will be outside. So thank you all. Welcome to the Penn community and enjoy the rest of New Student Orientation. See y'all.